The Crypto Markets Update is brought to you by KuCoin, the best place to find the next crypto gem.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff to handle here. And of course, we got to clear it up. And who better to do it with the next guest? Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is Mati Greenspan, founder and CEO of Quantum Economics. Good afternoon, Mati, from where you are.
GM, folks.
So,
GM.
Before we discuss Elon and all this, I do want to get to kind of what's going on with the LFG purchases of Bitcoin. Now, for a lot of people who are watching, they might not have heard for some reason, but the Luna Foundation group or Luna Foundation Guard bought about $400 million worth of Bitcoin over the past week. And it took their reserves up to 31,000 from about 21,000 Bitcoin. And that's to keep, is essentially serving as the backbone for Luna UST. So is this sustainable, though? I mean, they've had a target of 10 billion, the intermediate target of about $3 billion worth. But is this a sustainable thing for Bitcoin?
Is Bitcoin sustainable? Yes, I believe that Bitcoin is irreversible, and the more we, the more scarce it gets. Any position time is like, oh.
Mati, unfortunately, our connection is a little unstable, but hopefully we could we could go through it. Nonetheless, I guess the question is this: is that can LFG, can UST sustain itself as a business model? What if something goes wrong? I mean, like, obviously, in many ways, it hinges on the idea that Bitcoin's price goes up. As long as they keep buying into it and Bitcoin's price, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. But at some point, doesn't it top out? I mean, doesn't it just, people go, well, like, is it really going to last?
Yeah, excellent question. And generally speaking, when Bitcoin's prices goes up and the crypto prices go up, I mean, all boats kind of float together. The bear markets is when business models get tested. So, I think that over time, if they're able to ride out the bear markets and not to see too much leakage on that side, they'll do okay. But who knows what might be the reaction in a sustained bear market or something like that. Hopefully, we don't see any anytime soon.
What about the risks? If UST or the Terra Luna community were to see a run on the stablecoin, would, if they were to have any trouble with Luna or Terra, would that bring Bitcoin down?
I suppose it depends on how much they're holding and what that is, what that looks like to the markets. Right now, the volumes on Bitcoin are notably pretty low, so if that were to happen at the moment. But I think that hype is with them. They've got a nice cushiony pad, but relatively low. I mean, they're not in this at the top, which is a smart art. But again, I guarantee for any success. I just only wish them well.
So, Mati, of course, Bitcoin isn't the only game in town. We have ETH and the Ultimate. Let's tackle
Doge is up. Elon Musk is tweeting about Twitter and Doge.
I apologize. I forgot to. I apologize to the Doge community. Don't tweet yet.
Your pre-game rant there, Lawrence. So the way that this works is that cryptocurrencies networks a lot of the time follow this hype, which is, you can think about it as like a force war, and anything that's associated with Elon Musk automatically things the Dogecoin community. So when Elon Musk is in the news and doing well or control of some, in this case, total but partial control of our main commission within the crypto sphere, we can guess that people are going to associate that with his favorite coin.
This sort of hype that comes with Elon Musk buying part of Twitter, and obviously the exact connection isn't quite there, but you say that it's essentially because of the hype machine around Doge and Elon Musk. If you want to elaborate further on that.
Yeah, I mean, well, the cryptocurrencies are essentially, I mean, they're not companies, right? You don't have an earnings sheet or something like that. It's basically the power of the network. And when there's a hype, the network suddenly goes stronger because there's more attention and force majeure pushing towards that channel or towards that network, and that basically increases the demand, which increases the price and everything like that. There is some sort of an indirect connection that can be made that, okay, if Elon Musk is somewhat steering the machine as far as the communications are concerned, that he's going to take any kind of opportunity to push Doge forward, maybe. I'm assuming that I've been shadow banned on Twitter simply because people have been mentioning that they haven't seen it. But my assumption is that this is because I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, and rather I'm pushing or I'm an advisor on some altcoins and stuff like that.
To be sure, though, I mean, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you have no proof that there's been a shadow ban. It could also, I mean, let's face it. I mean, there is a lot of algorithmic aspects to Twitter, and banning is not one of they're very reluctant to ban people other than President Trump, I guess. But if you're in the Taliban, they don't seem to ban you. If you run Iran and try to build nuclear weapons, and President Putin, they all have Twitter accounts. They're not shadow banned. I don't know if that they're necessarily targeting you. I mean, do you have any data evidence to
Yes,
to
I've
say
had
that,
several people come up to me on Twitter and say that they haven't seen my posts in a while, even though they're clearly following me. I've had people who have set their notifications on. I'm not able to access Twitter Blue. Every time I try and access it, it throws me out. And every time I like a post, I go back, sometimes 20 minutes later, it's not liked anymore. Stuff like that, you could say, okay, maybe that's a bug, but, when it all piles up together, it certainly looks suspicious. Now, one of the first things that Elon has said is that we should open up the algos, make them transparent. I fully support that.
Speaking of some of the alts that you do talk about, you're a big proponent of Near protocol, but you've also disclosed that approximately 10% of your net worth is collecting 11% or more interest on Near staking protocols. Tell me why you're so bullish on Near.
Actually, it was introduced to me by one of our creative directors a few months ago. And I just instantly fell in love with the look and feel of it, and the congruity between the different platforms, the different decentralized applications that are building on Near, all have this kind of unified look and feel, which is extremely difficult to achieve in a decentralized network. And moving money around, my wallet address, is quite simple. It's MatiGreenspan.near, so I don't have to, memorize any long strings or keep them somewhere. The recovery process is really straightforward. And it was just really easy to get on there and stake my coins, earn that 10%, 11%, even 12% interest without doing anything. And then, when compared to other protocols, it's still relatively undiscovered. So that's where I feel that, as more people come into the network, we get that user inflation, which, has made literally millionaires and billionaires over the last few years.
Okay, well, besides some of the alts, let's go back to ETH, the ultimate alt. What's your take there?
I think Ethereum is irreversible. The gas fees have been coming up again. We've been enjoying that, wintertime gas fees of, $20, $30 sometimes. But yesterday I had another $100 gas fee, which, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. I think that Vitalik has the right idea. Maybe if we see a few less users, that might be beneficial. But it is, the gold standard as far as decentralized application building goes.
And Maddie, since we have you on a clear connection, I just wanted to re-ask you one of our earlier questions, which was the Luna Guard Foundation. They're buying up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. They have a goal of $3 billion. And what we asked you previously was, is this sustainable in increasing the price of Bitcoin? But not only that, if if the community, the Terra Luna community, were ever to have any problems and, a risk of a run on the stablecoin, would that be a risk on Bitcoin because of the amount of reserves that they have?
So I wish I would have had a bit more time to research this before you're putting me on the spot, to be totally transparent. But yes, in general, I think that companies buying Bitcoin and projects buying Bitcoin as a reserve could be a sustainable model, especially if they're doing it in a wise fashion and not throwing all their eggs in one basket. We know that the prices go up and prices go down. As we saw with the recent Netflix film about Gerald Cotton and Quadriga CX, I mean, when things are going up, everybody's making money. Business models come out of the blue, and sometimes they work. People make millions or billions or whatever. When you really know if this is working or not is if there's a sustained bear market, right? That's when business models get tested. That's when the squeeze the squeeze gets on, and people if the business model isn't airtight, things. You're asking me whether or not that could be a bad thing for Bitcoin if they have to, suddenly liquidate. I'm not sure how the system is set up, but if they have to suddenly liquidate, it depends how the liquidation is done. If it's done all at once, then certainly that could, push the price down right away, depending on how much they're doing, depending on what the daily volumes are and everything like that. But that wouldn't be, a sustained bad thing for Bitcoin. That would be like a very sudden price drop. If the liquidations are happening over time, I guess it depends, how much time it's going to take and how much are they actually selling compared to what the demand is in the market. And that could, let's say, if it plays out over 3-4 months, certainly could have a negative impact on the price over that period of time. However, once that's complete, once that's shaken out completely, then we have a buying opportunity again, accumulation phase.
All right. Well,
just to be clear, you're not comparing Gerald Cotton, Do Kwon to Gerald Cotton. But let's just hope he doesn't take a flight to India. Let's just hope don't take a flight to India anytime soon, unless you really.
Well, unless you want to fake your death or something. I don't know.
Have an exit scam.